Into the After Schrock. This is the little show that we do after the show here where I can answer any questions or we can get to some stories maybe that we didn't have time to get to on the program. We're a couple out there. It was a bad news week for China all the way around, coronavirus aside. The Equifax hack. You remember that thing, the big hack that Equifax had to put, ironically, credit monitoring on everybody's credit scores? They found out the U.S. actually charged a bunch of Chinese hackers, state actor hackers. Put that all together, you get state hackers. The state actors in hacking the Equifax stuff. So that apparently China is what the U.S. government says. Also, the U.S. government has officially charged Huawei with racketeering and conspiracy to steal trade secrets. U.S. updates charges against Huawei, adds racketeering and IP theft allegations against the Chinese telco provider and its CFO. So anyway, that's some pretty big stuff there. So it's just been a bad week all the way around for China this week. So I guess give everyone a couple seconds to join the program here if they want to. What do you guys want to hear about? Let me think. I've got about 15 minutes that I can go today before I got to get out of here. I got to get over to my dad's house and help him out with something. So we could talk Des Moines. We can kind of give you some of the lowdown on what's going on there. We can do internal Schrock stuff. We could do coronavirus stuff. We could do, I mean, it's, so this is the thing. I have employees who buy these stupid Pokemon cards or these, I don't know. They're usually come out of Asia. They're some kind of trading card game thing. And so people are afraid about getting the cards from Asia because they're afraid they're going to open up these cards and they're all going to be like infected. And so now Ryan was telling me when he got his box of cards, he opened up the cards and like a white powder puffs out of the box. Literally, it's like an antiseptic powder that they pack the cards in now, just to make everyone feel better about the fact that there couldn't be anything alive in here that's not supposed to be here because of this antiseptic powder. So, I mean, it's just, literally the other day, Nikki comes into the service center in Papillion and she says, I was listening to the radio this morning on the way in and they said, well, we don't have to worry about, coronavirus on anything coming from China because it can only last on surfaces for like 5 days and everything takes so long to get here on a boat that it doesn't really matter. And I just looked at her and I'm like, when we order miners for the mine, they come airmail from China. They take off in China and the next day they land in Papillion. So when those boxes come in, let's just Lysol those really good. Like soak that cardboard up, okay? Yeah, we're gonna Lysol those. We're gonna dip them maybe. I don't know what we can do with them, but we're gonna make sure they're nice and sterilized. Good morning, Mark. Is there a way to trick a computer to upgrade Windows 10? My modular computer is from 2011 and it's stuck on version 1903. What is the error that you're getting, Mark? Why is it not upgrading? It is possible to trick it, absolutely, but why do we need to trick it is the question. Why is it failing? I'll put that on there for people who watch the show later. So basically, the reason that Windows installation can fail is primarily in a computer that old. It's because the graphics card is too old. So it will pop up a warning about the graphics card. But what you don't realize, and what I didn't, one of my guys told me this, was you can still click continue and it'll just keep going. And then it'll do everything and it'll reboot. But when it reboots, you'll have a Microsoft default compatibility driver for your graphics card. So it's not going to do any high-end graphics. It's not going to be a great visual experience. You just have to add a new graphics card. But because your computer is modular, you have the ports built into the computer to add the graphics card. You don't have to worry about it because we can add the card to the computer and then keep it going for you. So that would be my first guess as to what's going on. Morning, Carolyn. Thanks for joining us. Is there an easy way to transition from Compute This to After Schrock? There is not. There's not even an easy way for me to transition to it. So here's the thing. This morning, Emily had some stuff on the board for KFAB to make sure stuff actually went out over the airwaves. The primary reason why the studio is here. So basically, she had to make sure that stuff got done, so I had to wait till after the news segment was over and the weather and everything else before we could start. The challenge we have is with Facebook Live, for some reason, if you're doing a Facebook Live show, you guys are listening to the microphone feed from the radio station when I'm doing that show. You're not getting the in-the-room feed. Because if you got the in-the-room feed, long-time listeners will know, you don't get the callers then. You don't get to hear people's questions when they call in. So when that's done, when the show is over, then we're switching to the microphone in my laptop. We're using that for the feed because I'm talking directly to the computer. There's no callers, there's no radio. That's all missing. If I switch the microphone input from the station to my local computer, it causes Facebook Live to crash about 30 seconds into the broadcast. So we'll be going along, hi, welcome in, and then boom, it'll just say broadcast is ended. And you'll restart it. It'll go for 30 seconds and boom, broadcast is ended. So you have to switch your mic, you have to close down your Chrome window, switch your browser input, or switch your microphone input, and then open Facebook Live again, and then you can get it going. It is the stupidest thing. I mean, ugh. So anyway, one thing I wanted to point out, for those of you who are watching or listening from the Des Moines area, we don't have a service center there yet for you. And we have had a lot of people from Des Moines driving into our Papillion location to take advantage of the solid state sale. If you wanted to do it this way, you can go to our website at schrockinnovations.com and you can purchase a certificate on the website that's good for the solid state upgrade. You have to basically guess which one you want. You want the 120, you want the 240, do you want the 480? The price upgrades are all the same, so if you find out you got the wrong one, you can always buy a bigger one later. But if you want to go to our specials page on schrockinnovations.com, you can actually purchase that upgrade. And then the reason we do it this way is some people are on vacation, some people it's just not a good time to bring it in. You can buy the certificate, then you can do it on a time that works good for your schedule. It just occurs to me you could buy one online and you could do it at a time that works better for your schedule because we have a service center in Des Moines in August. So that could be cool. So anyway, just a random thought there. Just go to schrockinnovations.com and then go up a shop. If you hover over shop, the specials menu will drop down and you can click on that. All right. Let's see. What else do we got here? So no, there's not an easy way to transition. You just have to wait for it to pop up. The easiest thing to do to make sure that you get notified when we go live, because that'll give you a link you can tap on, is not just to make sure you just don't like Schrock Innovations, but you have to click the follow button. You have to follow Schrock Innovations, and then you'll get a notification whenever we go live. Makes a really easy way to pop it open that way. Good morning, Don. Thanks for joining us again. Mark, good to see you. I ended up missing the first few minutes because I'm frantically searching. Okay, the other thing, Omer, that you can do is when the After Schrock is finished, we do post it to our Facebook feed. So if you do miss a piece of it, you can go back and catch the first piece of it if you want to. Usually the first minute or so is just me stalling anyway, giving people like you a time to get connected. So, yeah, what can we talk about today? We could talk about this. We could talk about that. We're going to talk about all the stuff, but what order do you want to hear it in? All things that don't really matter, that I'm just stalling, basically. It's called filler. I'm just filling, giving everybody a chance to get connected. That's true. Make sure those notifications are fired up as well. Thank you for that, Kim. I appreciate it. All right. Okay, so what else do we got here? So Des Moines. The Des Moines Service Center is getting really exciting. We found, like I said last week, 3 locations in Des Moines that looked really good. We've narrowed one of them we couldn't do, the one in the Jordan Creek Mall, because Best Buy has a non-compete on computer repair. They can't have any other stores in the mall that do computer repair. So we got X'd out of that one. So now we're down to 2 locations that we liked. And so we wrote letters of intent on both of those locations. Both of those locations responded to our letters of intent with pretty favorable offers. They weren't exactly what we were looking for, but they were pretty favorable. And so now we're basically refining those offers. We sent them copies of blueprints so that they can see what the build-out looks like. And we said, listen, we want a turnkey service center. I really don't want to be a general manager or a general contractor. Is the painter here? Oh my gosh, I have to drive out to Des Moines and make sure they'll let the painter in. I don't want to have to deal with that. I want someone local on site that can do that, someone with a construction background that knows how to manage those people, knows who the good contractors are and the bad contractors are. It's bad enough we're going to have to be messing with getting signs installed and everything else while we're not physically present there. So we have all that going on. Both locations came back and gave us a sort of a turnkey solution, which was kind of nice. So now we're just working on getting that finalized, and once it's finalized, we'll be able to sign a lease and then get moving. So on the back end, what we're doing right now at Schrock is this is the first location that we've ever had outside the state of Nebraska. So I believe, my accountant will correct me if I'm wrong, we have to go and get a foreign corporation tax thing in the state of Iowa. We're a foreign corporation operating in the state of Iowa because we're a Nebraska corporation operating in the state of Iowa. So we have to get a special permit or a license to do that. We need to do that before we can sign the lease because we might need to create a separate legal entity to do that, and it's Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going into it right now that's going to bore the heck out of people. I'm watching the ticker go down as I talk about it. Um, let's see, what else do we got here? Having trouble renewing my secure updater. I got the notice, tried to pay via PayPal. Don't think it took. All right, well, Don, I'm going to pop an email off to one of the service centers here to have them check that for you. So let's see. I'm going to do that right now because I will forget. All right, so Don tried to renew your secure updater using PayPal, and it didn't take. Can you confirm he is renewed and successfully set up for auto renew? That way you don't have to mess with it every year. All right, and that is the default. If you don't set up, if you uncheck the box, you don't have to do auto renewal. I'm going to also copy this to my developer that handles the Secure Updater website too. All right, there we go, Don. So now the fibers of cyberspace are moving to make sure that you're taken care of there. But we'll make sure that gets upgraded or updated for you one way or the other. I sent it to Omaha because they can just do it, and I sent it to Alfonso over at Schrock Interactive because if there's a systemic problem, he can address that so that no one else has the issue as well. I have seen other people renewing, but I have not seen anyone doing it with PayPal recently. So that's an important distinction. So I just want to make sure that that's working fine. Good morning, Carolyn. Yes, I know. We need a service center in Round Rock, and someday I'm gonna do this just for you, Carolyn. It's gonna be like Christmas, and I'm gonna be like, this one goes out to Carolyn from Round Rock, Texas. Welcome for the new service center. Carolyn's awesome. She gets all of her stuff through Schrock, and she's giving us every reason to pop a service center in Round Rock, Texas. The demographics, actually, I looked into it last week. The demographics actually look pretty good. We just got to figure out what station to grab there. Once again, Best Buy is working to make my life more difficult. Well, you know, a non-compete is a pretty common thing. We have non-competes in this strip mall. It's really a terrible thing. If we were to invest in a service center and put that thing in there, and then right next door to it, like a Fix-It Fast opens, and literally, like, you could bring your computer into Schrock, have us do all of our high-service diagnostic work, and then say, I don't want to fix it, and then go around the corner to the Fix-It Fast place and say, yeah, for $20, will you fix my hard drive? And Fix-It Fast won't test anything else. They'll just fix the hard drive. They'll do exactly what you tell them to do. The problem is most people don't know exactly what needs to be done. We don't even know until we test it. So we do all the testing and everything else to get a complete picture so that we have a complete solution and we're not, throwing good money after bad, fixing a whole bunch of little problems in a row. So every lease, we're going to insist on a non-compete in our lease too. We're going to insist on a non-compete for computer repair, for new computers, and software development, so that there's not any potential way that anyone can come into that business park and be a competitor to us in our own backyard. We don't want that to happen. So I get why Best Buy did it. Usually the thing in the past was Best Buy always had a non-compete for new computers, for computer sales. And they always have percentages. If computer sales is more than 30% of your business, then you can't move into this mall. Well, ours isn't, we could always get around that because we do a lot more repair than we do new computers. And so, and software development and other things, like it's a pretty good blend. So we can get around that typically, just not in this case. Apparently they have computer repair now. They've learned, and so now they have computer repair. Is your battery being held up in China? No, your battery is being held up, Carolyn, by stupid people that are being stupid about it. So the battery is under warranty. So we contacted the company. Carolyn had a laptop. We put a new battery in it. The battery stopped working. She brought it back, so we're going to replace it under warranty. So typically it takes about 2 business days, maybe 3, to get a battery to us for the computer, and they're warehoused domestically because they don't ship from China that fast. So we contacted the third-party seller that sold the battery, and we said, okay, listen, guys, we have a bad battery, we need it replaced. They turned around and said, well, we can send you a new one, but you'll have to pay $4 in shipping. And I was like, for real? All right, fine. I paid the $4 in shipping. Carolyn needs her battery. Let's get this done. So I paid the $4 in shipping just for you, Carolyn. $4. You owe me an Egg McMuffin or something. I don't know. You don't owe me anything. I'm just being silly. So basically, now we just wait for the battery. I've asked for tracking information. I don't have it. If we don't have the battery on Monday, I'm just going to order another one through our normal channels that get it to us in 2 days, Carolyn. One way or the other, you're going to have it back next week. I was just trying to keep within the supply chain, and they're just taking forever. So I don't know if it's because they don't have the battery or if it's because they got hung up on $4. They are not native English speakers, whoever I'm dealing with the battery company, but they're also not in China. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but we're going to get you taken care of one way or the other. All right. Do you repair cell phones? Richard, that's a great question. We have all the tools to fix cell phones. We have all the equipment to fix cell phones. I have technicians that know how to fix cell phones. Do we advertise that we repair cell phones? The answer is we don't advertise it. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, one of our locations was in a strip that had a non-compete on cell phone repair, so we couldn't advertise it. Number two, cell phones are becoming less and less and less repairable. So let me give you the short list of things that we can fix in a cell phone. Battery and screen. That's it. Battery or screen. We can do either one of those two things. If you have a main board that's not working right, if you dunked it in water and it's not working, if the microphone's cutting out or the earpiece isn't working, that's not stuff that we're equipped to do at Schrock. Genuinely, because the number one, you can take it to a kiosk in the mall and get it fixed for like $25. And honestly, with the quality of technicians that we have to hire and what we have to pay them and our overhead costs of operating, we can't fix a computer for $25 and stay in business, or a phone in this case for $25 and stay in business. So we just, if it's a battery, we'll do that. If it's a screen, that's pretty straightforward, we'll do that. But now with all of Apple's devices, even their laptops, they're starting to security code all the pieces together. So even the screen is going to be security coded going forward. It's really not a fun situation to be in. So the answer is yes, we can in some cases. If you have a screen or a battery that's bad, let us know and we can get it taken care of for you. And we'll be happy to do it pretty affordably as well. I'm not saying it's going to be $25, but it won't be $25 anywhere else either. It's just a lot of these guys will charge $25 just for the labor component plus the cost of the parts. And it's a weird game. So you have a low labor cost and you mark up your parts a mile. So you get everyone to, how much does it cost to fix a phone? Well, repairs start at $25. Sweet, I'll be right there. Okay, yeah, it starts at $25 and you need a $300 screen. Oh my gosh. Yep, $325, whereas some other place might have charged you, like Schrock would have charged you an hour of labor at $110 plus the cost of the part at like $30. So you can see why you would, up front, they don't come into us because we tell them what our labor rate is and they don't come in. On the back side, they find out what the part cost is at somewhere else and they wish they would have. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. All right, we got to wrap this one up real quick here. So, golly, stuff about coronavirus stuff. And then I've got a cold coming on, and it's always freaky now. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Am I symptomatic? I don't know. But basically we've formalized, we call it our sanitize, blowout, wipe down policy in the service center. We've always had a standing rule that every computer that comes into the service center, no matter what it comes in for, gets all the dust and gunk and dust bunnies blown out of the inside of it, and we always wipe down the computer so it looks clean when it leaves. The reason we do that is when you pick up your computer, you don't really have any indication of what we've done to it. You can't look at it and tell that it's been fixed. You have to turn it on to see that, but you can look at it and tell that it's clean. And especially if it wasn't clean when it came in, that's a stark difference. You can look at the computer and say, that's awesome, they worked on my computer. And it's just a positive reinforcer, right? So we've just added one step to that process now where we will sanitize with Lysol, basically, any touch surfaces, any surface on the computer that can be touched when it first comes into the service center. So the keyboard, the touchpad, the edge of the lid will all get hit. Then we let it dry. Then we fire it up and do our testing and stuff. And then at the end, we basically blow it out, wipe it down, clean it up again, and send it back out the door so that it's nice and clean and sanitized when it goes out the door as well. So basically, it keeps my staff hopefully from getting sick. There was a really nasty picture floating, or a study floating around online about some teacher took so this is a piece of bread that we wiped on like the bathroom stall door and stuck it in a Ziploc bag for a week. And so I watched the mold grow. This is one that we had unwashed hands handle and then we watched the mold kind of grow. It was less mold, but it was mold. This is one that we wiped across the screen of a smartphone and stuck it in a bag, and like there was no bread left after a week. It was just a bag of mold. So the computers, touch screens, things like that are just epic carriers for bacteria, viruses, things like that. So we officially, we're not freaking out. We're doing it for the flu primarily, just to make sure that our employees, we're losing an average of one employee a day going down with something and coming back in. And of course, everyone wants to come in and work, so they're, they're working or they're and then they're doing their thing. Wouldn't it be better if they just didn't get sick to begin with? So we've been implementing that policy in the service center to kind of help contain the spread. It doesn't stop. You see on the bottle, kills 99% of germs or whatever. It doesn't actually kill. If you apply it, if you super saturate the surface and let it, first you have to clean the surface, then you super saturate it, and then you let it air dry for 6 minutes, it will kill 99% of the bacteria on a solid non-porous surface. In reality, what Lysol does is it breaks up germ colonies. So your body is really good at fighting off one infection or two infections, but if you're getting hit with 16 different infections at a time, it's not so hot. So the objective of Lysol is just to reduce the germ load, the viral load, so the bacterial load, so that you don't end up with a bunch of sicknesses floating around at the same time. Gives your body a fighting chance to defend itself. So that's cool stuff. So we formalized that policy in the service center. Supply lines, we're not seeing anything too tight yet. We are starting to see some relief finally on processors. Part of that is because Huawei, if you look at the spike, it's Huawei that's buying all the chips. So I have a couple people who watch the show for investment tips. Even though I'm not an investment guy, AMD just had a great earning. They just had a lot of money. They did really well. Now's the time to get out. I'm just saying. I love AMD. Intel, now is the time to get out. Any microprocessor that Huawei is hoarding, so any microprocessor that's made in America that's used in a cell phone or a laptop, now is the time to get out. Get out of those stocks. That's my official, I'm not an investor, but that's my investment advice, primarily because these stocks have been flying because China's been buying all the chips because they're worried that the Trump administration is going to cut Huawei off from its supply of chips. There was a story that broke last week that they are in fact going to do that now. They're going to cut them off. Who knows, next week it could change, but they're going to cut them off. And this is causing Huawei to hoard chips. They're buying every chip they can get, and they're just hanging on to them so that they can keep producing for up to a year. That's their goal, is to have a 1-year supply of microprocessors. So what you're seeing right now is NVIDIA and AMD and Intel and all these chip companies are having great years this year because they're front-loading next year's Chinese sales into this year. That is, once Huawei is banned, those sales are going to fall off. And when that happens, you're going to see the opposite happen. So make sure you get out now. You can buy back in a quarter or two and probably make a bunch of money. I don't know. I have a 401k. I don't actively manage it. But if I was doing it, that's what I would do. All right, last call for questions. I got to get out of here. My dad needs me at the house. All right, let's see. Looking to buy a new laptop. Will you be having any sales soon? Ronnie, it's a great question. We just got off of the holiday special, and then in January for Windows 10, we did a laptop sale there. So we don't have anything going on in February. March, we will not have any laptop sales going on. In April, we're going to be bringing back the Ultimate Upgrade sale. The Ultimate Upgrade is where you can trade in any old computer for a discount off of a new computer. So it's kind of a cool sale. Allows you to get out of an old piece of garbage that you're done with and get into something that's new. That's going to come in April, though. So sit tight on that one. Those of you who have prepaid maintenance certificates that you have not used, please, for the love of all things holy, get that computer into the service center before the end of the month. I won't get into all the details why, but if you have a certificate and you're due for a checkup, or you're going to be due for a checkup next month, try to get in at the end of the month and use that certificate up, so that we've been sending email alerts to people that have certificates that are expiring, trying to get them to come in and use them, because it's going to get very, very busy in the service center next month, and we want to make sure that you get the high quality service you expect in the turnaround time, rather than coming in with all the hordes of infected masses coming into the service center. All right, let's see. This is the last call. Do we have any other last questions here? Oh, no worries, Mark. You know, it's kind of funny. Every week, my dad has a birthday card for my daughter. My daughter's birthday was like 3 weeks ago. And so I keep saying, oh, I'll come over and get it. And then there's something that happens after the show and I have to get home right away. Or, you know, the kids are sick and I have to get home right away. Or there's another birthday party, I got to get home right away. So today my wife is like, there's a lot to get done. Can you get home right away? I'm like, I have to get this card. But my wife is like, you have a cold. You don't want to give that to your dad. You're absolutely right. So that's why I'll have to get in and out really fast. But no, so I'll get in there and help my dad out with some stuff and grab that card and then visit with him and make sure he's doing well. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for the Aftershock. We appreciate it. We are going to be talking next week probably about the Omaha Beef game coming up. that we're going to have some tickets available for potentially to give away for our. We got to name our box, right? We got is it the Schrock box? What we have the Ralston Arena. We have a dedicated box of 24 seats for the beef games. We know where a lot of the tickets are going, but we want to give away a few tickets to listeners on the radio show to come out and enjoy a game with myself and the lovely Kimberly, and young Jacob will be there, Katie will be there, the whole crew will be there. So if you ever wanted to see what the whole family unit looks like, that'd be a good opportunity to do it and take in a little violent football at the same time. Yay! All right, guys, we'll talk to you next weekend. Keep that in mind, and we'll see what's going on then. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll talk to you on Sunday.